Concerning me, peeps and MMA fans around the world, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion and the MMA expert, and Paul F. Villarreal is joined over there. Now, a lot of people are talking, and we're discussing and reacting to UFC 132. A lot of great fights in here. We were so busy, we didn't get to do all the predictions. Frankly, we didn't need to do any predictions. But this thing came out, in terms of the main fights that I cared about, came out the way that I would have predicted these things, with the exception of Silva versus Leben. I thought that was a coin toss. I wasn't even going to make a prediction on that because anything could happen. But this result didn't surprise me at all. We'll talk about that. But I knew Cruz was going to win. And I thought that Tito Ortiz could possibly punk out Bader, and I was going to pick Tito, and he did punk out Bader, because I think that Bader's not quite as good as he was billed, and we'll come back to that later. And first of all personal opinion only, knowledge and facts, not because it's personal, all for entertainment, period, purpose only. Check the disclaimers. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Chris Leben versus Wanderlei Silva. Now, Wanderlei Silva is great, massive prop celebrity from Pride days, now UFC. He's been in all kinds of wars with Henderson, Rampage, everything. He's done it all, right? Even Crow Cop, all that type of stuff. But I've questioned, in my personal opinion, I'm not sure, you know, if Wanderlei is as good as he was before. I personally don't believe that he is. Also, this move down at from 205 to 185. Not sure exactly how that's going to work out for Wanderlei. And the thing of it is that, you know, I mean, always has an exciting fight. Another exciting fight right here. And Chris Leben, you know, is very dangerous. The crippler can really punch. And he's very sneaky. He's been getting better and better submission skills and better striking skills. And Chris Leben's a guy that can be rocked and knock you out. And we've seen that before. And I'm a big Chris Leben fan, and I'm a big Silva fan. And I just thought that anything could happen here. Going in, my prediction, and Paul and I talked about it, I thought, like, you know what? Wanderlei, I think, is bigger, stronger, maybe better all around. And so he could impose his will on Chris Leben. At the same time, you know, Wanderlei fires very wide shots, you know, looping shots, and you can get, you know, countered with straight shots. And also, he gets a little wild, and I'm not sure that his chin is as good as it used to be, quite frankly. And whereas Chris Leben is very wily. He's very, you know, Chris Leben, I'm not sure if he can beat the top elite competition, but almost anybody else, he's either going to beat you up, or he's going to be very live in that fight. And I think Chris Leben continues to improve. And now he's got a big knockout win over Wanderlei Silva. And what you saw there was, I thought, you know, Wanderlei came out there, he was firing, and I think he rocked Chris a little bit, and he kept firing, you know, kind of wide shots and stuff. And Leben, you know, hit him with a big looping left hook as well. Stung him, I think, just a little bit, knocked him off balance, came up with the uppercut, and then, or sorry, excuse me, left uppercut, and then just started doing, you know, the little holding and hitting, just bang, 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 punched him out, he was done, and man, Wanderlei was just gone. I mean, he was like that quick. I mean, Paul, what was your reaction to that Wanderlei fight? And, I mean, Chris Leben, big winner here, uses the dirty boxing to get a huge win over a big name.
This was a great fight. This was a co-main event. This is probably the biggest win of Chris Leben's career over a legend of the sport.
Yep.
Look, you know, I would have picked Silva to win this fight, but Wanderlei came out guns blazing. He went into axe murderer mode. He just wanted to just go to war immediately, and he did. He hurt Leben. I think Leben said in a post-fight interview that he might have broken his nose, and he just, you know, you saw him just throw just huge, big, looping power shots. He wasn't quite able to follow it up or really rattle a durable Leben. And like you said, he got caught. Got caught with those series of uppercuts and the little holding and hitting, and that was it. Fight was over in 30 seconds.
Fight was over. Where do you think this puts Wanderlei now, and where does this put Chris Leben? Does this slot Chris Leben into maybe some kind of a possible you know, look towards the title or even a possible title shot against someone like Silva? Or does it get him in line for someone like, you know, maybe Bisping or you know, some other of those top names in there? Where would you put Leben? And what about Wanderlei? Where does this put Wanderlei now? I mean, I'm not sure about this move to 185. I'm not sure where he goes next.
Look, I think that Silva is still, in my opinion, he's not what he used to be, as you said. I think he could still win some fights. He's got good matchups. I'm not sure how high this ball's leaving up. It depends on what you think about how good Wanderlei Silva still is. I hope that Silva continues to fight. I think he can still win. And look, Chris Leben is a tough, you know, crowd-pleasing guy. People like him. People like watching him fight. I don't think Wanderlei will be too hurt by this loss, except for just, you know, is he getting closer to the end? You know, we'll see what the matchmakers do after this fight.
I think there's some interesting things that can happen here, really, is I think that, you know, I mean, Wanderlei has beat Bisping. I mean, you know, Dan Henderson is a Strikeforce 205-pound champion. Would he consider maybe some kind of super fight at a catchweight again with Wanderlei again? I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen here. Not sure what makes the most sense. Everybody loves to see Wanderlei fight, and now Chris Leben again. So there's some different things that can happen here. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Who should Wanderlei fight next? What about Chris Leben? Does this put Chris Leben that much closer to the title contention? Do you think that he deserves that title shot now? Or do you think that he needs to face, you know, one or another kind of a name out there? And now, let's get to the next phase. Tito Ortiz versus Ryan Bader. Now, I personally thought, in my personal opinion, that Ryan Bader was maybe a little bit overhyped. Great record, great wrestling, strong and stuff like that, but I just wasn't really sold on it. I felt like John Jones was going to beat Ryan Bader, and he beat him, and he beat him in a very convincing manner. And I think for me, after I saw that John Jones-Ryan Bader fight, I was like, I'm not sure Ryan Bader is quite as good as some people were making him out to be there. There's a lot of question marks that got raised in my mind there. Not taking anything away from John Jones, because John Jones is the champion. He is fantastic and a phenom in a lot of ways, but again, I'm not part of this crowd that's like, oh, John Jones, the greatest 205-pounder. Okay, he just won the title and now he's hurt, so whatever, dude. We'll deal with that later. Love John Jones though. But Tito's coming back, and Tito needed a big win, and Tito's been around for a long, long time, and then this whole Tito and Matt Mitrione thing, and we'll deal with that later, maybe in a little bit. And all I can say about that is, you know, okay, Matt Mitrione, you know, whatever, dude. You just got facial because, I mean, I heard what you said on MMA Live. In my personal opinion, whatever like that. I mean, you're 5-0. Tito is like a legend of the sport, and he just beat a dude that was top 10 and stopped him in the first minute, dude. Okay, so we'll deal with that. Now, but Tito came back, and he looked good. He needed to do his thing. Hit Bader with some good shots. Took him down. Bader was trying to do his thing, and then boom, cinched up this guillotine choke. And he was just like, dude, that was tight, and Bader just had to tap out, dude. I mean, that just happened like this. Now what's up? What's going on now with Tito Ortiz? Is he back? Who can he fight? Who do you want to see him fight? What about Ryan Bader? I mean, this fight here, Paul, opens up a lot of questions in this whole situation now.
I agree. This is an excellent win for Tito. I think they said on the broadcast that this is his first win in the Octagon in 5 years. Huge win. You know, Tito just executed extremely well in this fight. When Bader was pressing on him, you know, he hit him with the counter shot, and that was a great choke that he sunk in on Bader. And, you know, all props to Tito. I don't know how far, you know, Bader's going to sink right now. I'm not going to say that he's like at a, you know, Todd Duffy level after he got KO'd by Mike Russo, but, you know, his stock is dropping. And as you said, give respect to Tito. You know, he is a legend of the sport, and he certainly came through tonight, and good for him.
Would you want it? Would people out there, and would you want to see a Tito versus a Shogun, a Tito versus a Machida, a Tito versus a Little Nog? I mean, there's a lot of different sort of potential matchups now that come to mind. What about, you know, does anyone want to see another Tito versus Griffin situation? I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of matchups. And what about the Strikeforce folks in there? Do we want to get King Mo in the mix here? Do we want to get Fejao in the mix here? What about Henderson after? I guess a lot goes, you know, lots up in the air, but well, what happens after this whole Fedor fight? And then Ryan Bader, I mean, where does he go after? There's a really stacked light heavyweight division here, and there's a lot of questions about where these folks move next. But I mean, you know, Tito's kept himself in this conversation and is moving forward now, and Ryan Bader has to go back and reevaluate and see where he's at. I think he's going to be fine, but he needs, I think, to up his game a bit. So what do you think about that, CNN viewers out there? You need to tell us what's going on. And then, let's not forget the main event, the whole situation here. Dominic Cruz versus Uriah Faber. I thought Cruz was going to win this. It was a masterful performance by Cruz. He did get caught with some strong shots from Faber, and you know, Faber was very live in this, but I thought, in my personal opinion, I thought Cruz won every single round. Maybe you give that first round to Uriah, but I mean, Cruz was putting on a clinic and was picking him apart, was beating him in the wrestling, definitely was out kicking him, definitely was out jabbing him, was much busier, pressing the fight. I thought that Faber looked defensive. I thought that Faber, you know, I personally didn't like Faber's comments after the fight. I think that Cruz was really funny, and I think Cruz feels really, really good to sort of avenge the loss, if you will, to Uriah Faber and keep his championship bantamweight UFC World Bantamweight Championship. Paul, what did you think about that Faber-Cruz fight? And where do these folks go from now? Because Faber has been beat twice by Mike Brown, I believe, and he was beat badly by Jose Aldo at 145, moves down to 135. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where Faber goes after this, but Cruz keeps on winning. Paul, what do you think's going on here?
I thought that this was just a awesome performance by Dominic Cruz. I honestly didn't give Faber one round. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't have given him a round, but I didn't give him a round. I just thought that Cruz dominated this fight. I mean, he mixed it up perfectly. Yeah, he got caught a little bit here and there, but Faber was only winning spots of rounds, right, whereas Cruz was dominating the entire round.
There's no doubt about it.
The second round, I think it was the second round, he just, right at the end of the round, Cruz landed like a 4-hit combination, kick, like punch, just amazing. I've never seen Faber just totally worked to that extent. I thought that Cruz was outstanding in this fight, and you know, he's just improving by leaps and bounds. I just couldn't be more impressed. As far as Faber, I look at Faber right now almost in the kind of way that I look at Kenny Florian. He's good, he's very good, but he can't beat the top guy. So we'll see.
We'll see what's up, and now that's the question. Now I want to hear from you guys out there. Look, Dominic Cruz, tremendous movement, tremendous defense, tremendous pace, you know, and great heart and great will, and he was determined that to win this match right here. We understood the bad blood going in. We saw the build-up, great UFC countdown for 132, fantastic. And I think this thing lived up to the hype and then some. Yeah. Great job by Dana White.
I thought this was a great card top to bottom. This was an exciting, fun card.
Very exciting. Great job by Dana White. Great job by the UFC. Great job by Joe Silva and all the folks out there. Very entertaining. We love it. I want to hear from you guys out there. You tell me what you think. Everybody's going to be talking about this. What is the next step for these fighters? What's going on now? You tell me what's going on. I want the comments below. Subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion and the MMA expert. That is Paul. We're Conservative Media, and we'll see you next time.